Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of NoSkillCraft. Here at the breeder again. This is time to finish up what we started on. I need to turn my sound down a little bit because the villagers are loud. Full disclosure, I'm recording this episode before the last episode, before the community episode, so I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I know what we're doing, I just don't know the specifics of what's going to happen. But yeah, whatever, that's fine. Today we're going to finish up the upgrades here. I do want to point out one little change I made in here. I added this fence gate just to help prevent them from making it through. This distance here, it's just short enough that, you know, they can make it through every once in a while. So to prevent that, I just stuck a fence gate there. There was no way to hook it up to this button without also being interfered with this lever, so it's a manual. You just gotta flip it open and close. It's fine. You can reach everything while you're standing in this one spot. So yeah, you can push the request button, the send them on their way button, and open and close this. The only thing you gotta move for is these levers, so it's fine. But I've been playing around in my creative world a little bit just to get the specifics down. So basically I need to drop the villager in there a few blocks onto like a piston, and he needs to be sitting in a minecart. I found that him just standing on the block, I couldn't get it to switch the village on and off like I wanted. I needed to use a minecart for it. Once I get that rigged up, I'm going to hook up a little counter over here that will keep track of how many villagers we have in there and just shut it on and off as it needs to. And of course then we need to build a villager managed carrot farm, probably somewhere over in this general area. I want to build it a little ways from the village just because I know that this is going to cause the villager to get a little confused in here every once in a while. But again, this doesn't need to be a super efficient carrot farm. It just needs to keep these villagers fed and happy, so when we need more, we can push a button and get a bunch more. So let me get the area set up here. Obviously need to put down my shulker boxes and get set up, but it'll just take me a moment and we'll get things rolling. Alright, so I built this little pillar down. This bottom block is at y equals 81, which is the point where we want to start the base of this little contraption I'm building. So we want to break out everything that's not that one. Be careful not to break that one and drop the villager down too early. And then we need to put a sticky piston on there. And then on that goes a block, and then we just want to encase the rest of this in some glass like this. So, oops, not that one. We want to encase just the guy in glass so he can't fall out and go anywhere, because that would not be fun. Boop, 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 boop. And that. And then we go back down to the ground, and then I just need to build a redstone torch tower up to power that block. So grab some redstone torches here, and we'll just use the black terracotta again. Oh, geez, might help if I have these on my bar too. And so here is the base. Put a block and a torch. I'm gonna need these two. Look at me doing it all unprofessional here. Have to click back into my inventory multiple times. Then we put block on there, and then a redstone torch, and then a block and a redstone torch, and that powers that, which is what we want by default, which is good. And then for the next part, I'm going to climb up on there and build up a little bit of scaffolding so I can get the villager onto his new home, which is a minecart. And just to show you, where is levers here. So basically the power from the little counter circuit over there, when it hits the right number, we'll send a pulse, or not a pulse, a signal down, and boop, flip it off, and then he'll drop, and he'll be low enough that he no longer detects that there's a valid village. So it'll shut the whole breeder off. So let me get some scaffolding in place, and I'm going to need some rails, and I'll be back in just a sec. Alright, so I got my little scaffolding in place here. I got some rails on it. Now I need to get rails under him, which is going to require me putting a block in here. And then I need to put a block in on the other side. Boop. And that's so I can take off the top here and have him not jump his ass out. That's right. I don't want you to jump out. Put a rail under him. And we go boop, and we go boop, and we put a rail there. And then I grab this here minecart, and I toss the minecart down, get him into it, and we go ahead and block him back in place like that. And I can recover all my rails. Put some more temporary blocks here, cover some rails, And then I need to jump my way. Oh god, I blocked my way in. Drop down here. And he's going to take a little damage when he falls, I think. I think it's far enough that he's going to take just a tiny bit, but I think I'm okay with that. I'm going to jump myself up here. No, I'm one too high. And I want to remove this one temporarily. And then we go boop. He'll fall in. And we'll put that there. And we should be good. Yeah, we should be good. So next step is going to be tear down all my scaffolding here and start rigging up the counter system. So let me do that. Alright, so I tore down all the scaffolding, and of course I left the roof up there for the doors so they can detect that they're valid village doors, because I don't want to destroy the breeder. And then I'm going to basically put 2 droppers here facing into each other, and this is going to make up the basis for the counter system. I need a comparator to come out of, we'll say, so if we're going to trigger them out here, yeah. I'll explain why which side matters here in a bit. Once I start rigging up the actual wiring to the different parts. So I need this to come out 2 and then into a block. So we'll extend this out here just a little bit. And then I need 2 bits of redstone and then a block, which is going to give me the counter. So essentially, I'm going to go over into this one, and I'm going to throw, I don't have any good temporary blocks. Let me grab something that I'm not going to be too concerned if I lose a bunch of. So let me grab terracotta, let me make sure I've got 2 full stacks. I want to have a large counter. So I'm going to fill this guy up with these, and then I'll stick a couple buttons on them, just temporarily. I probably need to do a powered block style so that way they don't interfere with each other. Alright, so basically I'm going to have a set of tripwire hooks up in here. So every time a villager passes by, it's going to send a signal down and it's going to trigger this guy. And it's going to fire one over into here. And it's going to be like, alright, now there's one villager in there. Once it reaches, it's like 42, 41. 42 there, yeah, you just saw it. So this will light up at 42 and start powering this block. And I'm going to take a repeater signal out of it, and I'm going to run said signal this way and over into, let's do this. I need to take down this ladder. Put another piece of redstone there. Where am I losing power at? I don't want to do it on the corner, so put another repeater in there, and it'll shut it down and bring the buddy down, and he will stop detecting the village. And then every time we request a villager and a minecart sends up and pulls one out, this one will trigger. And then once it drops below 42, so there's only 41 in there, this block is no longer powered, no longer sends a signal down in here, and boom. He gets pushed back up, village becomes valid again, and the villagers will start breeding. So that's the basis of how this counter system will work. And then when another villager comes up, you can see not powered, boop. Now it's powered, the whole system comes up and the villager is dropped. So it's a pretty neat little system here. So I guess the next part would be to hook up the tripwire hooks. Let me get up in here. Jump over here, and I think I'll put them like right about here's probably the best part. So knock out a block here. I need these guys to be here. No, yeah, there and here, and then I want to bust out this glass, I just need to be careful not to fall in and get sucked through the system, because I do not want to get trapped in there with all of those villagers. And we hook up tripwire hook there and a tripwire hook here, and then we put string in between them. String. And then I need to toss this string temporarily so I can pick up this glass. And I need to put glass back around this whole little bad boy here. Whoops. Because I don't want anything getting inside, because that would not be good. And then I'll pick my string back up. Now I need to take the output from there and run it over here. So I want to bring it off this side. So let's go block, block, block. And I want to run it into that block. So I need to put another torch down here. Let's make sure we don't get any spawns coming around. 'Cause try to keep as few spawns as we can get. And then I need to run dust down here. And that should do it. So if I guess break myself back in there one more time just so I can test it, we should have a working counter system. Let's bust out these ones. Can I get back out here? Yeah, I can. What can I toss? Let's toss out these stupid sticks. So if I do this, trigger that, it sent a signal and it shut it off. Good, so it all worked. Oh, I fell in. Let me get out, up. And put the glass back in place. And there, so the counter system works on this side. Let me take all of these out here. I don't want these. Put them all back on this side. And now I need to get underneath and run a wire up from the request system into this block. So I'm going to cut the clip here, because that's going to be a little bit of finagling underground, and it's essentially the same thing. I just need to power this block from that circuit. Alright, just before we get on to the next part, I did want to show that I did wire this up. So if I take one of these and I put it over in this dropper, and then I run over here. Now I did take all the mine carts out of the system, so we're not actually going to get a villager through, which is fine. But if I push this button and we go back out there and we look back in this dropper, there's none there, and there is 2 stacks in here. So it's now working. We got both sides of the circuitry wired up. All that's going to be left now is to build the carrot farm that is going to be villager fed. It's not going to be anything crazy. It's going to be using a single brown coat villager and no hungry villagers, because again, I don't need this to produce insane amounts of food. I only need to produce enough food to keep these guys fed, and they only need to be fed after they've bred, and they're only going to breed when we have used villagers. So I only go through the batches of villagers every once a day, so they don't need that much food. I don't need to build any crazy farm. So let me get set up for building that, and I'll be back. Alright, so for this next part, where I'm going to build the little farm, I'm going to do one of them fancy picture-in-picture high speeds, where I'm going to do first person and the camera count up in the sky, which of course is invisible. You can't see exactly where it is. Somewhere like right over in this area, I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm going to build this little farm, so let's get on that. Alright, so that wasn't too bad of a build. All that is left is to add the collection system. So if I go here and I bring these down a couple, because I need to put hopper minecarts there and then hoppers into the dropper. So yeah, let me grab, I guess I don't need any more. It's just going to be a temporary block, and then I need to put a dropper facing down, so I need to get up. So it's just temporary block ups. and put a fancy dropper facing upwards there. And that's where I'm going to shoot them up from to get them online to bring them over into feed the villagers. And then I need some hoppers here. I know I put some in, yeah, I know I put some in my inventory earlier. So I bring hoppers across under here. And then I need to put some rails down. Yep, I got some of those. And then I need 2 hopper mine carts. And if I stuff them down on there and then on here, and then I'm going to go ahead and block them in so they don't get jostled around. Just put one right there, there to put them there, and then I need to put one there and there. And the hopper mine carts are now completely trapped. There's nothing in there, so if I go bust my way in here, of course that would happen. Of course it would. I'm going to need to put temporary blocks there anyway to get villagers in, but if I go and go boop, 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 boop. First one wasn't far enough. And then I go down here and I look in here. Yep, there they are, sitting in my fancy thing there. So all that's left now is to build up some temporary rails, get myself a brown shirt villager in here to do all the plantings, and then actually rig up the dropper vader that goes up, the water line that goes over, and then we're done. The end is near. So let me do a bunch of this off camera. Let me build up the temporary rails and shit off camera, and I'll be back in just a second. Alright, I'm an idiot. I built this in entirely the wrong spot. So yeah, obviously I have a village right there, and then right there, that's Red Shirt's iron farm. So this stupid idiot in here is just running back and forth. He's standing in that corner, kind of looking at Red Shirts, and then he'll run over here and look at the window at that one. So I need to tear this down and build this entire exact structure, like basically over there, somewhere by like the storage system and things like that. So yeah, I'm an idiot. Let me tear this down and build it again, because I'm an idiot. Alright, now this is working much, much better over where I built it. He's just running back and forth and dropping carrots into my system. And of course all these ones over here so he can keep replanting them and keeping his inventory full. Now this design is by a guy named Cortazarino. He's the guy who built this, so I'm going to go ahead and link his thing in the description. But for now, I need to go and build myself an ice line to get the carrots from here over to where they're going to get fed at. So I'll be back. Alright, I've just hooked up the item elevator that should be shooting carrots all the way over to where our villagers are. Let's just get ourselves over there and take a look-see. Let's checkpoint here, just make sure that they're making it beyond here. Oh yeah, here they go. We run our asses over here, and here they are shooting their way through. And they should be making themselves all the way down to our villagers, who should start picking them up. So we shouldn't see them making them all the way around. We should be seeing the villagers grab them. I think that's been all of them. So yeah, they picked them all up because there's none cycling them around. So I picked up a few of them by mistake out of there. So let me throw these in. Oops, this in there. Come on, villagers, pick one and pick them up. Come on, pick them up. Whatever. We should see them start breeding soon. Well, maybe not. They might not have gotten quite enough food as of yet. I think maybe because that's on the outside edge instead of more central, which they were which all the other ones were. It might be why they're not getting them. But I'm not overly concerned. We should see carrots fairly regularly as Buddy over there harvests them. But I'm going to AFK here for a bit anyway and make sure that this thing gets pumping out some villagers for us and we get up to the required number. But that's going to be it for me for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel, give it a subscribe so you can keep up to date on all of our newest shit. And for now, I'm out of here.